What's happening, everyone? We are live. We are live. Welcome to RHMax radio station. Shout out to Dipcatcher, one of the best devs in the business. Shout out to Ballet Brand. What's happening, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to the show tonight. Another AMA, and I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday. I know. I like this shirt, though. I like this shirt. Change the background, though. It's a different background. Tonight, we have AMA number 2. I know it's late for you East Coast folks, but West Coast, not too late. And this is the only chance I got today to do it. So that's all I got. Best I got today. We're going to do a bunch of validator stuff. Again, AMA, I'm going to go through some stuff. I'll probably share a couple more docs, walk through those a little bit. And then also the gentleman from HSI Watch.com will be joining us because he mentioned he knew some stuff about PulseChain or PulseX, I believe. And he's going to hop on probably about 30 minutes or so. And we get to talk about that as well. So should be a fun stream. I'm excited. Should be a good one. It's been a long day, but I'm going to bring as much energy as I got. I'll bring it. Frosted Dog, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I know you said Hedron. I'm like, we talking about, funny enough, this is a PulseChain Validator AMA, but I'm sure we'll discuss Hedron on the latter half a little bit. Godfather J6, good to see you, man. You and that dog. That's the picture that I see, and I relate to you. So welcome. We got Hex Edits in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Ears wide open. Rocket ship's full flame. I know. Yeah. I thought PulseChain could launch it anytime. You know. And the Hex price is down right now. That's weird, right? It's been up for so long. Maybe that's people who are voting with their money, and that's how close they think we are. Huh? So I'll put up on the screen. Our friend Somi did a screenshot of the Telegram group, but I already saw it a couple days ago. But maybe we're not as close to mainnet as people think. Surprise! If you listen to Richard the last 2 years, he will tell you himself he's terrible at estimates. It doesn't mean we're very far away. It just doesn't mean anytime it could launch, and you got to do all that stuff. You can also look at, I mentioned on Twitter, looking at LP and see people pulling LP. And actually wrote some code, Crypto Sloth. I mentioned that would be a good feature for his website. Look at hedron.com. And he said, "Aren't you a dev?" And I said, "Yeah, but I don't have a website." And then I thought, I'll just go write it. So I wrote the code. I wrote a command line interface to do it. I'll share that with you all as well. In case you're interested and you know how to use Linux, and you can run it as a Python script. And that could be easily repurposed on the Sloth website. So if you want, look into hedron.com to show LP. Sloth has most of the code that he needs to do it. So feel free to poke him about that if you'd like to see LP stats on the Look into Hedron site for Hex and Hedron, because the code is done. We're code complete. I shipped it earlier today. I shipped it this afternoon. I'll pull that up in a moment as well. So yeah, I'm going to spend the first 10-15 minutes kind of go through the Hex and PulseChain stuff. Again, AMA, put your questions in the chat, and then I'll get into Validator, and then we'll bring another gentleman in, Juyoung. We'll bring Juyoung in from HSI Watch. We'll talk a little bit more. So it'll be a fun stream. Let's get into it. Let me see if I can share my screen. Present Hedron. Here we go. Hex is up 1.68%. But if you go down here and you look at the weekly, oh, look at that. What was that launch? Was that was that buy the rumor, sell the news? Buy the rumor of testnet launch, and then launch, we hit it. I was on stream when that happened, close to it. And then, PulseChain testnet, not quite. Mainnet fresh yet. PulseX not quite having all the features. Yeah, people are just great. Again, not financial advice, but a lot of people are saying great accumulation way here, as we do know PulseChain will launch, and it will. Again, I don't like to talk about price too much, but if you've been watching me for any time at all, you know that I'm bullish on this ecosystem. So do with that with what you wish. I'll let my guests talk about price if they want to. However, let's take a look at our friend Somi's tweet to give you an idea of maybe why the heck price is down. Maybe didn't help it, I wouldn't think. So this is just a screenshot of here in Pulse Dev on Telegram. This was posted in there, I believe. I saw this a couple days ago. So just a few different things. And again, no critical bugs, nothing like that. It's just stuff is missing from PulseX, for example. We got to at least get the buy and burn. I feel pretty confident in that. We got to have the buy and burn before we go to main. We can't go to mainnet, in my opinion, without buy and burn. We got to have the basics there. Limit orders, don't really care about that as much. That can come anytime, but we need the biggest pump of metal, one of the biggest in PulseX to be there. Explorer was still indexing. Let's see, do I have it here? Yeah, let me refresh. Yeah, so it looks like they're still indexing blockchain data. So again, if you think we're going to launch it anytime, I guess you can never be wrong, but I don't think it's happening this week. April, May. That's my positive looking time frame. And read it at your leisure. Some of these may already be fixed by now. This is I think a couple days old or so when it was all put together, but gives us a good idea that there's still a little bit of work to do, polishing some feature stuff, some of the stuff we need to have, some of the stuff we don't need to have. So just to give you an idea of where we're at. Hope that's helpful. What else we got? So I named this one Geth, Erigon, Prysm, Lighthouse to remind myself what the clients' names are, because I forget them from time to time. They're not the most memorable names, I gotta say, except Geth, of course, from Lighthouse. Erigon, Prysm. When have you ever said those words in your life before, right? They're not like super, super memorable. And I want to talk about them too. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the last AMA. I'm gonna put them in the doc. And while I'm doing that, I'll just surf on over. I'll bring up the Beacon Explorer too. What is it? Beacon.v3.testnet.pulsechain. I'll pull my Twitter too, because there's a couple of relevant tweets here. And Richard had an update, so I'll talk about that as well. RHMax list. So let me see. So talk about the Richard update. Guess I should. So we're still trying to figure out the APY. So let's start from here. So the main one, PulseChain update validators aren't making anything PLS wise. Yeah, so I think what I heard the most was 0.2%. I mean, I heard stuff from like 2% to 20%. Like I heard a lot of numbers, but 2.2% seemed to be the number that a lot of people talked about and agreed on. It sounded reasonable. So Richard got feedback one way or another, or looked at himself and said, okay, that's not great. I didn't really care what the percentage was, because I like the intellectual challenge, I like to support the community, the network. Making money is fine too. At least break even. That'd be nice. And again, it depends on what the pulse price is and all that stuff too. So basically, another tale of we're not launching tomorrow is he's still asking for feedback on stuff. So the numbers aren't set yet. Once the numbers are set, once he does a tweet that's like, okay, numbers are set, blah, blah, blah. If he ever says that, then I'd be more bullish on the launch. A soon launch, a close launch. So doing that, what leverage you prefer? Again, asking for feedback. And then let's see. The next one, when he talked about the update. So team doing projection today is looking increasingly like 1000x, bringing in line with Ethereum deposit, stabilized APY around 3% so this is estimated stuff, it depends on the number of validators, all that stuff, with around 40K validators. Wow, 40K validators. Let me see how many we have currently. So we have 4,000 validators right now. Well, that's kind of bullish, isn't it? Because if it does factor in how many validators there are, and 3% would be based on 40K, I'm not saying it'd be 10 times more, but maybe the early validator, if we only get to like 10K validators from mainnet, that'd be interesting. So that could be bullish in the beginning, at least. And once we hit 40K, then there's that. I mean, you got to imagine we'll have at least whatever we have now, the first 5 days of testnet. You got to imagine at least you have like 5x the first 5 days of mainnet, because people will be actually making, real money at that point. So say we have 20K, that's still maybe 6% until we get to 40K. I mean, I'm not sure that's the actual math. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but that could be an opportunity too. Then we could have 100K validators, and then it goes down, stuff like that happens. I want to show you the dashboard as well. I think it's pretty interesting. So if you're a validator and you want to know how to look at your validator, like what it looks like publicly on the, you can look at stats and whether it's up or not and all those things. So let's look at validators. We can do validator leaderboard. And yeah, you can look at the different income one day, and you can click on, let's see, I'll just click on here, just a random one. And you can see the income, none of that's right? That is not an accurate number. We haven't been a year yet or anything either. So you can look at the effectiveness, the state, if they got slashed or not. You can look at, where they are. They're in the top 1%, and different graphs and stuff once we have more time. But if you want to look at your own, just open your deposit data, JSON, get your public key from there, and then put that public key in here. And then you can look at your own stats. So you can do that on the Beacon Explorer here. So we'll look at the chat real quick while we're here. Paul says, not sure why your chat gets shadow banned for me. No notification. Interesting. Yeah, I know. They seem a little low in attendance right now. Maybe it's a deep state. I don't know. I think I may do the validation on my Twitter, because it seems like that's getting more serious. Elon is incentivizing you to be verified on Twitter. So actually, I'm gonna write myself a note to do that. Should probably do that sooner rather than later. If it's not too hard, I don't really know what the process entails, but if you just got to pay a little bit of money, and Twitter's useful for me. It's not like I don't need to be like this free stuff maximalist, right? I think Twitter provides a service, and I'm cool with it. So do verified on Twitter. Cool. Excellent work, man. Appreciate it. Pulse Bitcoin has huge potential. Don't know. That's a lot out of context, but I mean, they have an interesting staking portal. I'll say that. Really hope somebody gets some sun rays on Donkey Kong 24 hours. Man, he posts a video like every day, like sometimes 2 or 3 a day. It's kind of crazy. You guys like my cut, by the way? 100% staked. Hamish says 4K of those validators are the teams. Not sure what that means. Are on the teams of validators? Are you saying there's more than one? Because you can have more than one validator per server. I'm not sure. Yeah, Hamish, you want to elaborate on that? I'm not sure in this context. Again, I don't know everything, everyone. I started doing the Ethereum testnet validator stuff and learned a whole lot a couple months ago. And then in preparation for PulseChain. And then for PulseChain, I've got mine set up right now, seem to be running. I think I need some time before I get some stats and stuff around it. Still setting up some of the Grafana and Prometheus and all that. But I feel like I can answer a lot of questions around them at least. which is what I will get into right now before it gets too late, because I'm probably going to go about an hour today. So let's see, Hamish. Owned by the teams, and we're running before public test net. There's a big problem bringing validators. It's a big problem bringing validators online for the public. Oh, owned by the teams are running before public testnet. So you're saying some of them, I'm not sure I get the point though. 4K are owned by teams. Yeah, maybe I'm just not familiar with what was happening before this one, because I didn't do any validation on the V2B. So no, I appreciate the insight though. Feel free to talk more about it if you like. But I don't have that kind of nuance for it. But happy to learn more. Happy to learn more. What's up, Carnival Games? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I do like my cup. I got a few cool cups. I try to rotate them. Anyways, let me get into the client stuff. So I'll give you some time to put some questions in there if you want. Oh, I should show. Let me show you my, in case any, well, I'll save it. I'll put it in here. And then when I bring HSI Watch gentleman on, that'll be more appropriate to get into. Up here for now. I'll drop the link in case you guys want to check it out beforehand. Let's see. So I'll talk about it more once the guy gets here, but once we get into Hedron a little bit. But if you want to check it out, feel free. So many different directions I could go, but I was going to start on the dock so at least you all could be playing with that. But I was going to say, yeah, the farming stuff. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask too on PLP. Yeah, maybe our guy can give us a good explanation. I know a little bit, but I'll wait for him. Maybe he can give a better explanation. We could definitely launch it anytime. Yeah, that was sarcastic, by the way. And if you watched yesterday's AMA, sorry I had a problem with the video, but I fixed it now. I re-uploaded it. Whatever, it is what it is. And I updated the link on the post. So if that's missing, sorry about that. But I updated it. All right, put it back on this page. Okay, I'm going to make a Google Doc again like yesterday. And I'm going to drop a bunch of information in it. I'm going to drop it in the chat. And then I'm going to put it up on screen, talk about it. So these are a lot of my notes from the clients, getting them set up. So PulseChain testnet, clients, client notes, Geth, Erigon, Prysm, Lighthouse. I feel like I'm Arya on Game of Thrones. Ellen Payne, Cersei Lannister, Joffrey, Erigon. Erigon sounds like a Game of Thrones name, huh? All right. Did I already make that? Oh, I did, didn't I? Well, I will not. I'll just leave this one here for now. Okay, I did some prep work and didn't even think about it. So I'm going to put the notes in there and share them in a second. Just let me copy paste a few things from my other doc. They're not going to be in a super good order, but I think you'll be able to understand it. And I haven't got all the services stuff done yet. It's the only thing missing from this. Instead of running it in the console, making a service, I did it for Ethereum testnet, Erigon, and Prysm, but I haven't did it for PulseChain testnets, Geth, and Lighthouse. I think some of this I copy and pasted too, and I was going to do some stuff to, oh crap. Let me not put that in there. Just a second, folks. Almost finished. We've got the latest notes. And now I'm going to add the notes. Appreciate you being patient, everyone. Add myself a note to add the check Geth status. I think that was, is it above? So I went over the cloud stuff yesterday and the validator deposit. So if you're interested in that, go check out the AMA number 1. Let's see. But again, I'm working on the doc. For almost done. So some of these docs look like they're from the Ethereum days on the Erigon part, but they're very, very close. All right, I think that is enough. I'll publish them. Need a quick check. Add a disclaimer in here. The notes before, the notes after this were tested with Ethereum testnet, chain testnet, with Erigon and Prysm. Should be similar. I think we're good to go. Gonna ship it. So here it's the doc. Drop it in the chat. Feel free to follow along. I'm just going to walk through this a little bit and say hi to the chat. Give you guys a chance to check it out if you want. It's like one person popped in. Peter Smith, will I be able to have PX my Coinbase wallet or Coinbase not compatible? So I haven't used Coinbase wallet, and I think there's a few different ones. If it is a self-custody, I hate even saying that word because I don't like differentiating between them. I don't like, renaming freedom, like, so weird to me. But if you control your keys, then you should be able to get your copy of PX. I'll say it like that. And I don't know. I don't use Coinbase Wallet. If you are able to control your keys are portable. You can take it in MetaMask and load it up from Coinbase Wallet. Should be able to. But don't quote me on that. PulseChain altcoin talk. I don't understand some of your questions. It's like you're just talking about a few different coins. So if you want to rephrase it, I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm not sure we'll be on fiat, basically PulseChain. I don't understand questions on those. So happy to answer otherwise. Pac-Man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. If you're talking about the doc or otherwise. Oh, Hamish, okay. I guess my point was if you want to run a validator and be prepared, bugs, bring it online. We don't have a good idea how many nodes you're waiting to be validated. Yeah, so maybe that's what you're saying. We have 4K leftover validators from the previous testnet that need to upgrade or get things in a good state, I guess, if that's what your point is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, appreciate good information though. How many pools will there be in circulation at release? Trillions? Oh, in circulation. Actually, there's a great video on this. I posted it the other day. See if I can. I'll try to find it quickly. I won't want to spend too much time on it, but let's see. I think in my dev explain video, I talked about this. There's a guy who makes these videos that I think did a pretty good job. PulseChain stats. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. So this guy had some information on it. Oh, geez. Just give me the thumbnail. Yeah. So if you could see that should answer your question. If these numbers are correct, I haven't fact checked them, but this guy makes a lot of videos. So if the numbers are correct, total will be, what is that? 1,000, 100,000, 100,000, million, billion, trillion, 145 trillion, and then 10% in circulation. So 14 trillion or so. Still a lot. A lot. But 90% to our benevolent well, who we love and appreciate there. Great video. I'll throw it in here. This guy makes a lot of videos, so hopefully he is accurate. I haven't seen any reason for him not to be, though. Let's see. How much we're going to get to the bottom of this, aren't we? It's 4K are owned by the devs, not the public, working fine. Okay. Maybe you meant dev team. That's what I was missing. Dev team. Okay, by the team. That makes more sense. They're working fine, provide good base bucks in Facebook. Okay. We finally got it. My bad. Owned by the dev team. Good information. Gotcha. Brendan Smith, unfortunately, mass validator numbers won't be reached until PLS price drops. Is that why would it be? Because if it dumped, wouldn't it? More people want to validate it if it's worth more. Till after PLS price dumps. Oh, so they can buy more in order to be a validator. I got it. I'm a little slow tonight, everyone. Sorry about that. A little slow. Trophy smiling. Yes, exactly. So let's go through this before I bring our gentleman in. So again, you can look at your validators, look at stuff like that on there, and how to check it as I explained earlier. So these are the ports you need to open on your firewall. for stuff to work with GoPulse, aka Geth, and Lighthouse. Just a couple things I do on a clean server just to make it easier. A couple tricks. I mean, some of these are just personal, like turn off the big message that comes up. Name it something cool. Name it money printer. Name it retirement. Name it whatever you like. Things you like. And then update it. Install some of the dev stuff you're going to need. Install Go. And then go and start pulling down the stuff from the PulseChain repo. So if we go here, this is the GoPulse repo, aka Geth. It's got all the stuff in it. Tells you different commands, and I got those in there as well. Also Docker if you want to try container stuff. And a couple notes on like how to see if it's syncing. I know like that's my struggle too is information of how to understand if stuff is working or not. Because just looking at the logs, looking at the output of what the clients are doing, it's just frustrating to me. I'm like, some of it's like information about other validators that looks like you have problems until you like really read it and understand it. It's like debug. We need something better than debug logs. And once I get Grafana and Prometheus set up, maybe that'll help some too. But geez, it'd be nice if you could just query, and every client's different. But it'd be nice if you could just say, is everything, just get one message, yes or no, is everything working correctly that needs to be? Everything critical is working correctly. And then if not, what is not working correctly exactly? I don't know why it's so hard to simplify some of these messages and stuff. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, it looks good to me. And then I got to go check the public validator stuff to see if I'm getting slashed or not. I'll get Grafana and stuff set up and maybe that'll help, but it's just, come on, blockchain people. I don't know, be the change you want to see. I'm not that good of a dev. I don't think I can contribute. Well, I don't really want to spend time contributing that area, but anywho, how to generate the JWT secret. This, I think, yeah, so this is stuff, again, I got from Gamma Dev. I think this may come directly from his guidance. I'll drop this in here too. It's fantastic. If you get stuck, these are like all the commands you need to run. So this is all public information. So credit to Gamma for these particular command lines, at least. I think I got most of it from him. Yeah, same thing with down here. And then Lighthouse setup. This is directly from their website as well. And then install dependencies, build the code. And then the key management, that's another doc. So if you need key management, let me know. I have it as another doc. And maybe I'll just drop it in the chat, just in case so people can have it. Because it's pretty helpful too. There's a key management portion, just dropped it in. And then, yeah, these are different network flags, data directory, where you want fees to go, execution endpoint, checkpoint stuff. Ooh. All right. Let me fix something over here. One sec. Okay. And then how long did it take to sync? It took me about 12 hours, 24 hours, something like that. I don't know exactly, but it takes about a day or so, depending on your specs and bandwidth and all that stuff too. And one sec. And then this is the how to check on Lighthouse, see what's going on, optimistic true, your status of your client is on there as well. And then the rest of the stuff, as I mentioned, these are notes from when I was testing Ethereum and I was using Erigon and Prysm. So pretty cool diagrams, explains how this stuff works. I see very, very few of these. It's really hard to get good visual information about the process of how it actually works. So these were super helpful to understand like what's actually going on. There's a lot of pieces going on to this. So those are included. And then the Guerrero Ethereum testnet FAQ. This is just different validator stuff, talking about Erigon here, and then explanations of how the stuff works. So hopefully this is helpful. Everyone, how to check for errors, what stuff means. So if you have any particular questions on this stuff, let me know. But yeah, especially these diagrams. I'm sorry I don't have better resolution, but I think they're pretty good. So our gentleman is here, Juyoung from HSI Watch. So again, put your questions in there. One sec. Questions in the chat for what we've talked about so far. Let's see, Peter. Looking at today's tweets, RH just says 1.2 times million is ETH in the video script. Yeah, so if those numbers add up, then yeah, I don't see any reason to doubt them. I didn't fact check them, but I mean, dude does like all these videos with all these numbers, and they look like totally obtainable numbers. Sometimes you see people doing math on different stuff, and you're like, how do you know that? How'd you get those numbers? What assumptions are you making? So, but these, yeah, don't seem too hard to get. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Juyoung. How's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I know it looks like you're, trying to get a node set up. That,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
that can't be easy. I've been monitoring the Pulse dev chats, and it sounds like everyone's been having issues trying to get it up and running.
Yeah, it's if you're having issues, another thing too that helped me is because I couldn't get something running though. I think the flags, the PulseChain testnet v3 flag wasn't working on Lighthouse or something, and I did a git pull, which just updates the repo, and I rebuilt I rebuilt the binary, rebuilt the client, and that worked. So anyone out there who's having problems like with flags or something's just not working correctly, the PulseChain devs are updating it as they find issues. So I had a problem that was solved just by git pull, rebuild the code, make it all that, and then build a new one, and it started working. So yeah, it's interesting. I think there's a lot of stuff there, but still some stuff missing, still some stuff buggy. And that's why I wanted to, I know you talked about the PLP token and PulseX stuff. So, and I'm a big fan of your HSI watch. I'm a big fan of anyone building in the community and all that stuff too. So that's why I wanted to invite you on and talk about it.
Hey, well, hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, HSIWatch.com. Basically, it's just kind of a website I built for the community, just kind of to give back. I'm kind of new to the dev space, so I've always done kind of computer science and analytics, just kind of in my regular job, and I've always had an interest in programming. And about a year ago, I did a coding boot camp. Actually, probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I did a coding boot camp, full stack, web dev. Uh, you know, React.js and C Sharp, SQL, building the web server and everything. And so when Hedron launched, I wanted to take the opportunity to just, I don't know, build something for the community. I realized that in Staker app, you had to put in the HSI address for each HSI, into the Staker app. And so I was like, maybe I can build something, to help the people who have many HSIs, so they don't have to have like 50 addresses in their staker app. So HSI Watch lets you just put in a single address and it pulls in all of the HSIs.
Very cool. Yeah. Is there should we put in like Godwell's address or something? What do you think, just to test it out?
I mean, you could do that. You could do the ICOSA address. That's going to get you a ton of HSIs.
Yeah. Could you explain that? Why would you put in a contract address?
So the way that like the Hedron auctions work, or like ICOSA, is I guess the HSIs get transferred over to that address temporarily. And again, I'm not 100% sure how the auction system completely works on the back end, other than the functions that I've been using to get the data for moving HSIs back and forth.
Sure.
But according to the code or whatever, it like transfers it over to the ICOSA contract, and then it transfers it over to the person who wins, the HSI at the auction. And so, and then there was that, I believe just recently they had the you could like sacrifice your HSI for some ICOSA or whatever, and so that was all sent to the ICOSA address as well. So basically any address, it could be a contract, it could be a wallet. If it has HSIs associated with it, or if it owns an HSI, it'll pull it into HSI Watch.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for discussing that, because it's like that's my first question. Like I know what it does, but it's like that whole, wow. It's funny just to see how the creative uses of these things are. Like, you don't think about putting a contract address to look at HSIs. You think about putting a wallet address, stuff like that. So it's cool how it works that way.
Yeah, I didn't even, that was like an unintended side effect, right? Like when I first built HSI Watch, it was using for each HSI, it would ping the blockchain and get that HSI information, and it was super slow. But somebody in the community, after I built HSI Watch, I think it might have been Crypto Jim Rat, was talking about how you could just put in the ICOSA address and see like the US dollar value of these HSIs that were up for auction. So
Yeah.
it's just really interesting. And you can see here in the dashboard too, on the left-hand side, the currency view. You can click on any of those buttons there, and it'll tell you what your hex stakes or HSIs or Hedron. Soon to ICOSA yields will be here, hopefully this week, next week. But it'll tell you in terms of whatever currency you want.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and I'll be setting this up for PulseChain as well once it launches.
That's cool. Wow. Yeah, it changes everything. That's really cool, man. Just gonna put the curious. I'm gonna add one of the Godwell's wallets in here. So does it combine both of them in the same?
It does, yeah. And if you click
Okay.
on the wallet address, you can actually filter too.
Gotcha. Should probably. Oh, did I click on the wrong one? So that should be Godwell, I think. Is it C5? Yeah. So we can see here he's got. Yeah, can you want to just walk us through this?
Yeah. So here in the middle, we've got his active mining activity. So it looks like he's got 4 just regular hex. I don't want to say stakes. He's got 4 hex miners.
Say whatever you want. I don't monetize the show. Say whatever you want.
Well, anyways, so you can see there, starting from the left, type is going to be like HSI or a standard hex miner. You've got the start date, the end date of the hex stake itself, the number of shares, and you can see this is even beyond T shares. This is like quintillion shares, like that top one right up there, which is absolutely nuts. And then you've got the value on the right hand side. And actually, if you click on the top right corner, on that little right hand arrow, you can see even more stats. On the active miners box.
Active miners.
Yep, on the top right. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can see there's like hex burned. So that's like the principal hex that was burned for the stake. So that's going to come out at the end, right? And then you've got the hex mined. That's the interest, which is absolutely mind-boggling.
So on the hex
Yep.
burned, just for people watching, so that's how much when they put the hex in and started the stake, that's how much it was worth.
So yeah, it's like when you go to hex, go.hex.com and you decide how much you're going to stake, it translates into what's called hearts in the back end of the contract. And basically it's a combination of your principal plus whatever, like longer stakes get like a bigger bonus, things like that. Bigger pays better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically that back end number translated into hex value.
Well, I guess the point I was trying to get out of this was, is it that's how much Godwell put in, like 88K, and right now he is mined almost 9 million on that top one.
Yeah, and so just because it was burned, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean he put it in, but that's how much, like, cumulatively he put in plus whatever bigger pays better, or longer pays better bonus he got when the stake was started.
Okay. Cool. Just to APY. Wow. Look at
Yeah,
that
so
APY.
absolutely insane. And so that takes into account the Hedron as well. That's mintable. So if you go to like go.hex.com, you can see the APY for your like hex mining activities. And here I wanted to be inclusive of like the new Hedron derivatives of hex and ICOSA. And so this takes into account that Hedron mintable. The Hedron mintable is what's mintable now. Hedron future is what's going to be mintable in the future. So it doesn't include anything that you've already minted, if that
Wow.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. When I grow up, I want to be just like Godwell.
Yeah.
This guy is incredible. Incredible. And I love how you represent the what'd you call this again? Quint shares?
It's got to be quintillions. Yeah, it's got to be Q shares,
Wow.
quintillions. So what I did, I just threw in a bunch of, like I think 1,000 is K, right? Million is M, T is trillion, B is billion. And so the function that I built for this, I guess it's saying it's quintillion shares. So that is absolutely crazy.
It
Q
is. It is.
shares.
Q shares. I thought we were going to get down to like T shares, like 1,000 shares. I didn't know we were going up. We got to go up for Godwell. Got a question from Brennan here. What API framework do you use to query blockchain data?
So I use Ethereum. So everything you see here, I built from scratch using npm. Create React app. So I created a React.js application. So basically, the front end is all JavaScript, dynamically generating HTML. That's what React.js is. The middleware API server that I use is C# ASP.NET. And again, I programmed all the API controllers and everything like that. It pulls the blockchain data using the Ethereum plugin for C#. And then I'm just using like an Infra API node, So my middleware is pinging Infra. It's filtering for all the event logs. And then I stored that into a SQL database so that I could quickly access it.
Gotcha. Yeah, excellent work, man. Excellent work. It's come a long way. I remember looking at it maybe a couple months ago, and you did a lot since then, right?
Oh, well, yeah, I kind of fell off the radar there for a bit. Like, had some medical things going on in the family, and our cat died. It was
Hmm.
like I could have been like a country singer by the end of, But anyways,
Yeah. So
uh,
sorry to hear that, by the way. Yeah.
oh no, I mean life happens, right? I think it's just important, like how you move on, right? And so coming back, with all the buzz about V3 testnet getting ready to launch, I was like, man, I should really get back into this. And so um, I found the drive again, and I hopped back into it. I wanted to make my 3 Patreon supporters proud, because they're really the ones that have paid for the majority of the server costs. And so a big shout out to them. I don't really need any more than what they're providing, unless somebody's willing to pitch in, buy me some coffee, because you know I drink a lot of
Yeah.
coffee.
Hey, everyone, for just $5 a month, you can be a coffee buddy of Juyoung here. So
But
yeah, I mean, I encourage everyone. I mean, seriously though, it's people build amazing stuff. We need to support those people. And dude, yeah, don't feel free to show your Patreon. I'll do it for you, because we know this is amazing. We definitely want you to keep it up.
yeah, I appreciate it. I have a lot of fun building it. It's just it's exciting to see people use it. It's exciting to just even have this tool, because I feel like before HSI Watch, there wasn't really a tool that fulfilled the need. You know what I mean? It was like Staker app
Mm-hmm.
was like, it was good, but it didn't quite fulfill the need for Hedron. And so I really built this with like trying to just include the whole ecosystem in mind, and then of course I can use it myself too, which is fantastic. But
Yeah,
um, it's technology is fun. It's like painting on a
it
canvas.
is. It's people ask, what's the point being a validator? And for me, I never even thought about, like, I never thought being a validator would bring any money in the first place. Like, I'm not investing my time and energy, and I'm not streaming right now to help people with it for the extra money, because I knew it
Yeah,
wasn't like you could just stake. You can do LP. There's a lot of things you could just hold. There's a lot of things to make more money than being a validator. But I'm like, I mean, if you're in this community, you want to have, I would think, Richard says, you should have utility. And, if you're not doing anything else, why not? Then you're intellectually curious, you have some tech skills,
for
and you
sure.
want to help the network, you want to grow the community. Like, why not be a validator? Who cares? You're going to make some money. Like, you're going to have some fun, worst case.
Yeah, I mean that really hits the nail on it. It's like, we're a community, right? So and I feel like we're such an active community. It's just so fun to be on Twitter and just like hear everyone hype, and then like and fight, and then and I don't know, just back and
Yeah.
forth, and building new tools, and I mean Hex model and all these crazy
Yeah.
sites with all these data analytics. It just blows my mind.
Shout out to Hex Model, Dev Huey. That's another amazing website. Very, very cool. I'm gonna give you a unsolicited ideal here. If you ever want to add LP numbers to your website, I don't know if you're following around earlier. I was telling the story about how Sloth. I was like, Sloth, we, one sign of PulseChain launching could be that we see people pulling Hex LP, Hedron LP, any project really. I mean, it's, if you want to get your copy, it shouldn't be in the Uniswap NFT in the polls and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you want to get your copy, you're going to need to have it liquid or staked. And Sloth was like, oh, I thought you were a dev, go do it. I'm like, challenge accepted, sir. So I just went on, found the most popular pools, not all of them, but I found the most popular pools, and then just like, okay, what do I want it to do? Let me show you the usage so it'll make more sense. What I want it to do, okay, I want to either get the number or track it. So get it, you just say get Hedron. It'll total up the pools of the liquidity in USD dollar terms. Same thing for Hex. If you want
Yeah.
to track it, all you do is all it does is you set the parameters, how long you want to sleep before you catch the next one. What alert do you want to change on? Do you want to do it if it's 15%, for example, 1%? I was just testing here with 0.3 just so I could get some.
Yeah.
I can make the thing here. So, and all it does is query deck screener, parse the JSON, and then do a bunch of baby math stuff. So if you ever wanted to add LP, you have there's totally some repurposable code that is public domain. You could you could use. No
Yeah,
pressure,
well,
no pressure.
I might have to hit you up on that because man, like, so I know I built HSI Watch, but in all honestly, like compared to some of the stuff that you guys talk about on stream, I feel so like stupid. It's like yeah, I can do this web dev
Join the
stuff,
club.
but
Join the club, man. I get Gif on my show and Sloth, and I'm just like, all right, you guys talk for a while. I know when people ask questions, I'm like, yeah, that's not a question for me. That's for those two. I'm gonna go butcher it. You guys do it. Or either I don't know, or I'm not gonna give you the best explanation. So I know exactly how you feel, but you don't have to be. Don't short yourself. Nobody's gonna go build HSI Watch like you did. Like that's crazy, man. Except maybe
oh
Dev Huey. He's on that level too. You guys are great.
oh yeah, actually I see Def Huey in the chat right now. Yeah,
Yes.
I just mentioned hex model earlier. Just those charts blow my mind.
Perfect description. Yeah, that whole website. I'm like, this is great. I have to reference it so much, but I want to start referencing the HSI Watch now. It's now that I've got to explore it a little bit with you. I've just been so busy with the PulseChain stuff. I haven't got a chance to look at the new updates and stuff you've been doing. And man, looking at that APY and looking at of course you can put that Costa contract in there. Fantastic stuff. So super utility websites, both of them.
Yeah, well, Gifford mentioned it in the chat a little bit about the color scheme. So I needed like to take a break after. So I've almost got the ICOSA yields calculation down. I gotta finish like this bonus calculation, which is throwing off the numbers for like some of these bigger ICOSA stakes. But like my wallet, other wallets that are in my database, everything's matching so far. But I'm just pounding my head against this bonus calculation now. And to kind of take a break from that, I decided I would add color schemes to the site as well. And if you look on the top right, you'll see a drop down. It says default.
I
I've
gotta
got a
click
couple,
Hexagon. That just feels fun. Yes, that's cool, man.
and
I love it.
so I mean, it might look all right on here, but where this really shines is if you're looking on it on your phone. Like I
Oh,
feel
I
like
bet.
it's just it just pops on the phone. I
Dude, that
like
just
this
popped in my
one.
face like that.
It's like it's like that's all right, but when you look at this white uh theme on the phone, you're like, man, this is like, I don't know. I think it's
Especially if
cool.
you got a white iPhone, like you're gonna be like, "Where's the screen? Where's the back? Can't see anything right now." In a good
Um,
way. You're gonna be confused in a good way.
oh, one more thing I should also show is if you go to like a little bit more colorful scheme, just because it's a little bit easier to see, and you
I'm a
scroll down.
hexacan. It reminds me of Corey and Investor, that song. Now that when I see this, I'm a hexacan. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I know. If you scroll down, so once the stakes finish loading, you can actually see your
Ooh,
mining progress. And I would recommend for doing this, changing the currency view to US dollar. You can see
good idea.
how much by hovering over the daily payout chart. You can see how much your T shares are earning you each day. So it's not just the daily payout, it's actually like how much you're earning every day, that day of, you know, since you first started mining.
Wow.
And
So
you can, yeah,
I would say so. Godwell's earning like 40K every day.
yeah. I mean, that is just, again, it just blows my mind.
50K these days. Wow. That 40K, that was so last year.
And I
Uh,
think you can actually see his T shares that might be in the wrong number format. I don't know if those quintillion shares or not, but
oh yeah, yeah.
you can also click and drag your mouse over a section, and you can zoom in.
Oh, okay.
And then you can click on that little plus icon on the top right.
Is that a plus?
Yeah, well, it's like a scroll, right? And you can
Yeah.
scroll left and right on the chart too.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And then right below there, you see what was traditionally called a staking ladder, which is I just called it a mining schedule because after if we changed
Yeah.
terminology, there wasn't like a set
A mining ladder.
term.
Yeah, not so great. Minting ladder sounds a little better. Mining ladder. Yeah. Mining schedule. Okay.
But yeah, you can see again, you can see exactly how much is coming out in any currency, US dollar, ETH, or hex, how much hex is coming out depending on what your currency view is. And I don't know, it's just kind of a fun way, an easy way to view your mining schedule or staking schedule, so you know what's going on.
Dude, that's a sweet feature. No, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think to scroll down, but telling you and Def Huey both, man, you got some amazing stuff for this community. Like who else has this? Everyone's like, oh, I don't want to be a maxi because there's other stuff out there. And I'm like, show me something better than these stats website. Who has these? Who has these advanced stat websites that you can change the currency view and the mining ladders on? It's insane, man. Who has hexagon color schemes? Are there any ADA color schemes? Like, show me the ADA color schemes.
Yeah, well, I can't take all the credit, so the original HSI watch, that was all built by like my blood and sweat, right? Like, and for this new website, I was like, I got a subscription to ChatGPT, let's give it a shot. And so I took my calculations and I was like, ChatGPT, please make this better. And so I can reuse it in places across the site. It was like, here you go. And I was like, this is
amazing.
awesome. So like, it's like my formulas, but on steroids. And if you look at the color coding of the like staking ladder and payout stuff, I was like, ChatGPT, how do I make these colors gradient? I think if you scroll out of your daily payout,
Let's see.
or actually, if you click on the circle, you see it goes from like yellow to. I tried to put in like the hex coloring scheme.
Dude, yeah, and ChatGPT was like, whatever you say, sir. I love it.
Yeah, well, I threw a curveball a couple of times. I had to.
Sure. Yeah. You got to learn how to operate the vehicle, sir. You have to learn. Once you know how to ride me, then I can make you. All right, I was going in an interesting place on that one. Yes, you got to learn how to use the. You got to learn how to be the prompter guy. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but in terms of like knowledge and technical, I think like Dev Huey, Gifford, and Sloth, like these people, they're just they're, to me, I feel so dumb compared to them, like complete geniuses. Like,
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We can be dumb. We can be dummies together. Let's do it. We'll be the smartest dummies the community can see on live stream every once in a while. I'm getting pretty tired though. I did want to, before we go, again, everyone, I'm going to throw HSI Watch in here because if you haven't been to this website, you are missing out. Him and hexmodel.com is fantastic as well, of course. We feature Xmodel a lot on the show. I wanted to talk about what I originally was like, hey, you want to come on the show? And that was, let's see, can I find it? Did I retweet something? Let's see, did I retweet it or did I go back? Gotta go search. Probably gotta search. Let's see. All right.
Was that for the liquidity providing?
Yes, that was for the PLP token. Yeah, here we go. So this was, so I was just searching through. I was looking at the farm stuff, earning incentive token, and I was searching for PLP. I was like, all right, somebody's had to talk about this recently. Like I'm not the only one looking at PulseX right now. I searched for PulseX PLP on Twitter. I came across Pulse Wizard, and he was saying, I'm trying to do farm on PulseX. Says any PLP, I have no clue what that is. And I'm like, I don't think anyone knows what this is because Richard hasn't talked about incentive token very much. I've never heard him talk about PLP, or I've heard anyone talk about PLP. And maybe there's some streams on it. I haven't seen him, but so I don't think it's a well-known concept, or people seem to be confused. So when I started getting into it, I was like, okay, I'll learn a few things. I think I can at least say this. I was like, should I even post this or not? I don't know. I don't like to be wrong. I don't like to be like unnuanced. So I'm like, I'll just put it out there, and maybe people who know more will tell me. And you answer like, oh God, it's the guy from HSI Watch. And he said, so add to that, in order to get PLP, you need to go to the liquidity section and supply liquidity for a pair of tokens. And you're exactly right. That's how. So could you explain? And I think I could explain, but I'm not maybe we'll help each other, but
Yeah.
how do you get from PLS and PLSX to PLP? Maybe that's a good way to frame it.
Yeah. So if you go to the PulseX site and you go into let's see, where is it? Under trade, you'll see liquidity.
At the top of my head.
Oh, and it's funny that you mentioned you were like on the fence about, because I was totally on the fence about posting that reply too. I was like, man, I don't know too much about this, but
I'm glad you did, man. It led to this conversation. It's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you did. I know that's why sometimes I'm like, should I? And then I do it and I'm like, oh God, I hope that was good. And then it leads to good things sometimes. So I'm glad you did. So yes, I'm there. I'm at the let's go to
so
farms.
under trade, and so this is too, it's like a little bit confusing how to navigate, but you go to trade, and under that drop down list, you'll see liquidity. If you click on, so hold your mouse over trade. Oh yeah, actually it's there too.
Yeah.
Same thing. And you just click on add liquidity. You can select what liquidity pairs you want to provide.
Let's see.
And
okay.
I'm not 100% sure on the calculation, or how the number of PLP that you get actually gets calculated, but I think it's based on a variety of factors. Maybe like if it needs, or how much is already in there, could potentially factor in there. Without looking at the back end, not sure, but you can add in a number of pulse and an equal value of PulseX, and the connect wallet down there will be supply liquidity, and you just click on that, and it'll give you, so you can see the numbers are different, but the value should, they should roughly equal the same value on both sides of the trading pair. And when you supply liquidity on the bottom where it says connect wallet, it'll change to supply liquidity. You click on that, you'll get PLP. And if you don't click on the add to MetaMask button real quick, you'll be like, where's my PLP? Because it doesn't show up in your wallet, and you're like, it's like nowhere else on the site.
Yeah, I remember when I did it. I don't even know if I think maybe I did this or I did some other. I feel like I did some other part of the process, but eventually I was just kind of clicking through and I'm like, okay, it makes sense that PLP. So yeah, so what it represents, is it, so what is it, does it stand for, like PulseChain liquidity pool token? Like what, I guess
I mean, that's a good guess. I was going to guess it was paired liquidity providing token or something like that. It could be PulseChain liquidity provider token or something like that.
And its purpose is to, so you basically you put up Pulse and PulseX, and then you get PLP, and then of course add it through MetaMask, so it's in your wallet. And then is that token tradable? Like, is there gonna be like a market? I just, like, all these things come in my head. Like, is that, or is it, can you only use it on the DEX to then start earning incentive coin?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't looked into the actual token contract to see if it's got like the tradable values. But if you go to if you go to earn, and you go to farms, and then you click, so this is where all the farms where you can earn incentive token are, and you can notice there's only PulseX and Pulse right now. I don't know if it's going to change in the future or if it's just going to be this, but you click on there. And on the right-hand side, where it says Connect Wallet, you'll approve the amount of PLP you want to stake, and then you'll click it again to finalize supplying the liquidity, and then you'll start earning ink like every couple seconds or whatever over here on the left. So yeah, I mean that's it, and then you can add liquidity. You can pull out your ink. You can pull out your PLP from the farm, and then you can go back to liquidity, and you can pull out your liquidity. So like where you originally added liquidity, and it just was like a blank box in the middle that said connect your wallet to view your liquidity. Right. That'll populate with your liquidity pairs that you provided, and then you can choose to withdraw your liquidity. And I did notice that when you withdraw your liquidity, it burns a certain amount. So there's some caution. It's like, I don't know if the best strategy is to just set it and forget it and just pretend that you lost all your coins and just collect, the incentive token over time. But there's a chance of like impermanent loss where it's like if the pairs aren't stable, one coin could decrease in value, the other one could shoot up in value, and you'd get like kind of like a lopsided trade back, and it could end up in less being returned than you started providing. So that is where I'm not super familiar with.
So the question too is, so this is how you earn incentive token, but isn't there so this is okay. So in this pool, in the PulseChain PulseX pool, you can earn incentive token, but there'll be other pools with other pairs that you can earn, just like Pancake Swap, a lot of stuff like that. You can earn the special community tokens and stuff. Is that correct?
That's what I believe. No, so I tried adding just for fun, just to see what would happen. I tried adding liquidity for Pulse and Hex pair. There wasn't a liquidity farm. I just wanted to see what would happen if I added liquidity, and I still got the same PLP token. So I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, is it just going to be a single farm, or is there going to be like a farm for each pair? I would imagine that you'd want for each pair, but
That was
with only one farm open, it's hard to know.
Yeah, I think maybe that's just like a testnet thing where they're like, we're not going to test the other kind of pools right now, or maybe they're like upgrading it. Maybe we get a couple weeks from now, you'd be like, oh, you can go try to farm your other stuff now. I think that's what I've heard, the speculation of how it's supposed to work. But I wanted to click on, will this show me this PLP contract? Okay. So can we tell if it's like an ERC, would it need to be our ERC20? Yes, to be traded code.
It's gotta have the,
let's see, creation code. Is it not? Where's the
it's gotta be
Solidity?
It's gotta be just a regular PRC20, because it's got tokens and it's got token transfers, so obviously it could be transferred.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't know the actual code behind the token. I
don't want to speculate on secret hidden token here, but we haven't confirmed that it's not tradable and would have a market for some reason. But it's interesting.
Oh, you know what you could do? You could go into, if you have PLP, we could go into PulseX and try trading it. See if that even works.
That's here. That's interesting. I might have to try that. Yeah, and let me know if you try that as well. Like, let's keep that Twitter thread going. Let's make it an epic thread out of nowhere. That'd be fun.
Well, it's not popping up when I type it in, so maybe not.
Well, you gotta. Can't you just add Can't you just add a token? Can you just add it manually? I feel like you can on like Matcha. You can just add it and trade anything, right?
Yeah, let me pop in there and get that contract address.
Yeah. I'll just I'm gonna scroll through the chat and say hi. Let's see. Maddie Allen Raid. Oh yeah, Maddie sends. Appreciate it. Thanks, Maddie. Thank you for sending people this way. Yeah, I was like, I feel like this can be a good stream. We didn't have a lot of people in the beginning, so replay gang for everyone who wants to see some Validator AMA, me go through some docs, and then HSI Watch demo. Pretty awesome. Look at the Godwell's address and look at the Icosa contract and the amazing website that Juyoung has made. And then now we're looking at trying to figure out PLP token live. We did it live. So what's up, Crispy Man? Welcome, man. Good to see you. Crispy Man is another man in the community who does a ton of excellent work. Hex Gecko, a lot of the Hex community basically have a whole TV network. I know, right? I think our streaming community is pretty strong. Donchi, hey guys, how do you take liquidity out? there. So when you start earning, this connect button, connect wallet turns into remove position or something like that. And then you could harvest what you've earned as well. I haven't clicked them, I haven't tried it, but the buttons are there. So I assume it works.
Yeah. You in with where that button is, the connect wallet, it'll turn into you can add additional PLP or you can remove. So there's those two options.
Hex 19 says stake PLP to get incentive. Are you saying that that's another use of PLP, or just in general you're trying to describe this as a staking process of the farming? Maybe you're just saying that because you do put in PLP and then you earn incentive. So maybe you're just referring to that process, I guess.
Yeah, and does the value from the incentive token come from the user fees on that traded pair? I wonder, like, where does that value come from? I wonder.
So you earn incentive token by putting up liquidity for PulseChain and PulseX, which turns into PLP. And how do you earn it? I mean, you earn it based on your position, but where does it come from? That's a good question.
Yeah, I think I remember. I mean, it's been so long, but I think a portion of it might come from the trading between those pairs.
Well, that's so. One sec. I think I saw something that said a 0.22%.
Yeah.
Is it? So I think that's going to lead us to the answer to. Let's see. Where was it?
I think it was like a portion of it is burnt, and a portion of it is given to the liquidity providers as user fees, if I recall.
One sec. Let me add this in. Here we go. Adding liquidity, you'll earn 0.22% of all trades. This pair proportional to your share of the pool. Fees are added to the pool, accrued in real time, will be claimed withdrawing. So is that the 0.22 part of the trading fee? Is that what that's referring to?
Yeah, and I think that's only if you have your PLP staked, because again, once you add liquidity, your PLP itself isn't earning anything until you stake it. And I think so that's where the 0.22% comes in.
Gotcha. Question drop out. How different is that from the incentive token? So I assume you're talking about PLP. We'll use PLP to get the incentive token. Yeah. That's what Hex 19 was answering. Okay. Faster, but what the freak is the incentive token? Well, it's what you get for putting up liquidity. Rewind a little bit fast. Abdul, you would like a more concise answer. Let's see. Sell or accumulate Inc. has value. No value on PLP. I suspect there wouldn't be. Otherwise, we would have heard about it. But it is interesting. Stream, appreciate it. I get the rest of the questions in a moment, everyone. But yeah, did you have anything else on the PLP or any other interesting anecdotes? Did you ever get it to trade or anything?
I mean, I did get it to trade by importing it, but I don't think it would be worth it. Is like 1 PLP was worth 2 PulseX. At that point, you'd just be giving away like.
Okay, but it is tradable. Interesting. Another tradable coin, perhaps, unless that's not a thing on mainnet. Maybe it's just a testnet thing, but interesting. So maybe there's more than one. So yeah, Richard said he doesn't care about the incentive token. There's a PLP token, at least on testnet, PulseX. Wonder if there'll be other tokens that are just kind of like floating around for different use cases. Very interesting. Yeah. Any other interesting anecdotes on that?
Yeah, none here.
Okay.
This is this is all pretty new to myself as well. So
awesome. Yeah, I love discovering stuff on stream too. It's very, very fun. All right. Well, what somebody say? No, I don't think sticking to anything to 2%. Really?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like it has to. Otherwise, like, your PLP itself isn't earning anything on its own. Like nothing in my wallet was changing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I think maybe when you say staking, Brennan, I mean, there's a little bit of wordy, a lot of things going on, but what do you call it? LP staking. Otherwise, I mean, it looks like that. But feel free to, if you have more information on that, feel free to put it in the chat, and we will talk about it if we have a second. I want to get to, let's see, I had a question. Marco Maceller. What number of X's do you think PLS will do in the first week? Any chance you'd want to answer that, Juyoung? Feel free. If not, totally fine too.
I mean, gosh, I don't even know the answer to that. So I had to ask GPT, and I posted its answer on Twitter. I'm just gonna like pull it up real quick, or I don't know if you want to pull it up, but
yeah, I can pull it up. Let me let's see.
Yeah, I asked ChatGPT. I was like, and ChatGPT was so reluctant to give me an answer. It's like, I can't predict the future. Trading is risky.
Shoot.
I'm like, just give me the answer.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Appreciate
there
the
it
retweet.
is, right there. That table.
Okay. I don't know if ChatGPT is correct with historical data, but if it is, people interested in PulseChain check themselves in. Okay, nice.
Basically,
I haven't seen this kind of chart yet.
Yeah, I just and I didn't do anything on the math, so I don't know if GPT was just like, I'm a language learning model, math isn't my thing, but I just looked at the numbers and I was like, okay, that's acceptable. If we do a million X in 6 years, I'll be okay with that.
Wow.
Just looking historically at like Bitcoin and Ethereum, it didn't compare like Solana or Cardano or any of those other. There's so many of them these days.
Amazing. Yeah, I've seen charts of them talking about Solana and a bunch of different L1s, and I've seen PulseX compared to different dexes and all that, but I haven't seen ChatGPT compare Bitcoin and Ethereum. What I can hear Richard in my head right now saying, these numbers are crazy, but Bitcoin's already done it. Ethereum's already done it. Why are people mad that PulseChain is designed to do that and more and all that stuff? So.
And I'll say, I feel like we have a lot more momentum going into PulseChain than Ethereum did when Ethereum launched. And so you see like that like 13 or whatever X, on the Ethereum, right at whatever down there. I highly doubt that we'll be at, just a mere 13X. But I have no idea, and I don't want to give any financial advice or lead anybody into anything, but I think we're going to do very well. Personally.
Yeah.
So
I think so too. Definitely think so too. Okay, let me take just a couple more questions, and yeah, I gotta wrap it. It's getting late my time. I don't know what time you're on, but I need to relax. I can't. It's hard for me to sleep if I don't go to stop streaming and stop thinking before bed at least an hour or two. So.
Yep. No, I'm right there with you.
No single-sided P. Yeah. So no, everyone, no single-sided. We are V2. Unless it changes, don't think it will. So thank you, Hex19. You got some good answers here. Appreciate you. Brennan says fees get added to the. Let me click back over to this page. Fees get added to the PLP. Fees get added to the pool of PLP you're in. When you cash out your PLP, you get more than you put in.
So
yeah,
if that's the case, I don't know where. I mean, that might make sense. So like when you go to where is it? You go to earn and you go to pools, or no, it was liquidity. Yep. So you go to trade, liquidity. There in that middle, right above add liquidity button, you see that empty connect a wallet to view your liquidity. Right there in the center.
Right here?
Nope. Back on the other screen that you were just on. Yeah. So in this table where it says your liquidity, there's nothing there right now. But once you have your liquidity pairs, they'll show up there. And you'll have an option then to transform your PLP back into whatever tokens you provided liquidity for. And so that would make sense that at that point, your PLP, depending on, you know, how much liquidity you provided, how many fees were added, you know, maybe you would earn more or less. But then I would be curious about where the value for the incentive token comes from, you know.
Okay. Good
But
one.
I mean, if it has value and I provide liquidity and I get value for providing liquidity from the incentive token, you know, whatever, you know, that's fine for me.
Well, it could just come down to Hart's law and stuff. It being paired makes that value, and it's a Richard Hart production, so should never bet against that gentleman. Very cool.
I mean, I'm sure there are systems in place to, you know, and pumpamentals, tokenomics, and everything has been hashed out. It's just insane the level of detail that goes into even just the hex contract, you know, just.
Oh, Brandon's got one on this too. I'm not sure where the value of incentive comes from. I know for Stella Swap, as an example, if you stake Stella a small amount of buyback, it's done and given to X Stella stake to others. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, could factor in. Good stuff, Brennan. Good stuff. Good. Thank you for adding to the conversation and helping us explore this and try to figure this out. I wish there was just some documentations like, here's how this stuff works. That'd be great, wouldn't it? We wouldn't have to guess quite so much. All right, last question. Juyoung says, can Hicks exit 15 cents before mainnet? It's possible. That is not financial advice. That is not a prediction. It is just a possibility. It's down to 7 cents or something right now. Took a big hit. And if you watch the beginning of the video, I talk about maybe the people who have a lot of money who are voting with their money about when PulseChain's launching, because I don't think it would get sold down so much if enough people believed it's actually going to launch this soon, because they don't want to lose out on those forks. So that's a wisdom of the crowd thing for me. You know, what do you think, Juyoung?
Yeah, I mean, well, it went from like 10 cents to like 50 cents in a matter of like a month or something, and then you know, went back down just as quick, and then it went up to, I think, like 12 cents in like a week, and now it's back down, you know. So I mean, it's crypto, anything is possible. There's no way, rhyme or reason for it, you know. But I think if you look at the trends, you know, the long-term trends and cycles of the chart, you know, I think it's positive. It looks positive. But yeah, I have no idea before mainnet if it's going to hit 15 cents. You know, I don't think anybody would be able to know that for certain.
I don't think anyone comes in the chat asking a question knowing that anyone knows that. They just want some hopium, or I don't know. I think you guys give us credit for knowing or having crystal balls, but nobody knows anything, everyone. The TA guys probably know a lot more than a lot of people, but then they may place bets and take a lot more risk. All I know is this ecosystem is a winning ecosystem. And if you look at the past, price has went up a lot. All right, last question. Seriously, I hold coins Atomic Wallet to get all my copies. I don't know what Atomic Wallet is, but if you can hold your own keys, that means you can go from Atomic Wallet and go somewhere else. I don't know why you wouldn't get your copies, but I don't know specifically Atomic Wallet. Have you heard of Atomic Wallet?
Yeah, I used Atomic Wallet like once. What I don't remember is if you have control of your keys or if you can add in custom tokens. It's been so long. It's probably been like 2 or 3 years since I
Is
even
that the
looked at
mobile
Atomic
app?
Wallet.
I
No, they've
feel
got
like
like
I feel like I used a mobile app that's called Atomic Wallet like 5 years ago.
well, they might have one, but they've also got a desktop app.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
but
All
it
right,
is an
seriously,
app.
last question. No more. Let It Go Diet says it's PulseX Sack Checker yet. I thought that was a coin checker. Do you know if we have totals or anything? Just, we don't have to elaborate. Just, do you know if it's like there's a URL or something?
Actually, I saw it on the Beacon V3 testnet site that you were on. They had that sacrifice checker on the top.
Is that for PulseX or PulseChain? Let's see.
I believe it's
Sacrifice
both.
checker. Is it both? Okay. It says PulseChain sacrifice checker in the URL. It could be both. I have not used it, but I'm gonna post it in the chat. And there you go. Let it go diet. And thank you, Bobby Hexerod. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Juyoung, amazing conversation. Thanks for coming on, man. Really, really good to talk to you, meet you, and walk through everything. Yeah. What do you want to send us off on? Any final words? Anything to look forward to? Anything for people should look out for?
Well, just thank you for having me on, and I hope HSI Watch can be a valuable tool for you guys, and for any new onboards and things like that who are looking to get hooked up into the entire Hex economy, including like Hedron and ICOSA. And I plan to keep adding on to that. I hope it can be a useful resource, especially for like the new people. Yeah, other than that, the only thing I would like to impart is if you haven't staked and locked in T shares, or even M shares or B shares, whatever, I would highly recommend you do that, because it really helps negate the impact of a lot of these downturns. Like you get people, emergency end staking. You get all that the interest from the penalty they accrue when they emergency end stake, and on top of that, while everyone else is sitting at whatever 7 cents, you're actually sitting above 7 cents because you've actually earned Hex, and Hedron and ICOSA, all while you're just kind of like mining or staked. So I would highly recommend that. I think that's an effective strategy. But yeah, no, I wish the best for everybody, and I really appreciate for having me on.
Of course, man. Of course. Hopefully, it won't be the last time. Yeah, definitely. Glad to meet you and glad to walk through this stuff. And I'm gonna call it a night, everyone. Take care out there, and don't forget to PulseChain could launch at any moment. Any moment. Probably not tomorrow, but any moment. Scivive and 5555, everyone.